How about I come on the stage? That would work. That would work. Let's see if this pops up. It says I'm live. Oh, there we go. That's working. All right. Let me see. All right, now I got to check YouTube. Where is YouTube? YouTube. Do the Boomer Bunker. Do the Boomer Bunker. Where's the Boomer Bunker? There it is. Oh, Boomer Bunker says I'm live. Okay, they're on live there. And where's the other place? Oh, Twitch. I don't give a shit about Twitch. All right. So people are like, what the hell are you doing? I can't seem to, is it my headphones that are low? Let me drag my headphones up a tad bit. That should, whoa. When I say whoa, I mean whoa. All right. Now, I guess it's me. I'm the only ones on here. Aaron says, I said, hey, I'm going in the Bunker VC. I'm also going live because I did a lot of work in the studio, and I need to see if I screwed anything up. And he says, I got 5-1. Yes, I appreciate that, Aaron. I appreciate the fact that you believe in me. That's fantastic. All right, so what are you doing, John? All right, so what happened was I wanted to be able to use Stream Deck and also Stream Deck Wave Studio to live stream. I'm a fan of Stream Deck. I don't like, I shouldn't say that. I use the Rodecaster, all right, but it's all the way over there and it's buttons. If I'm pushing a button, I have no idea. What's this do? Okay, that's the trombone. But there's no way of marketing. I can't see. And what's on the screen is so small, and the mixer's so far away that I can't, I can't see it. But here, where I have my Stream Deck, I can do all kinds of stuff. I can hit a button there and...
You and your fat, lazy tongue.
Yep, see? So that's working. And... then the other thing I have here is now I bought a Elgato key light. So what I can do is I can hit a button here and then I can turn the light down inside the studio. Or I can turn the light up in the studio. I can make it brighter. I can do it with just the push of the button. I can take that light and then change the temperature of it from like a yellow to a white and then over to a blue. So I can color balance it, which I know nothing about. I suck at this. Oh, fuck, where was it? That's it there. And I was talking to the Duchess last night in the upstairs studio, and I have an overhead light, and it was shining directly off my bald head, and I had this big shiny spot. All right, let's go see if there's any comments. No, there's no comments. All right, so I was checking that out. Now, here's, I wish I could show you guys if I had another camera. I do, but so I reconfigured the whole studio. And to do that, I had to pull everything apart. And then I started looking at things and I'm like, I don't like this. I want to do this differently. So I completely ripped the studio apart somewhat. And I also now, I have another mic that I can bring over here. This is the new Wave mic. You can't see it. Let me see if I move this camera down where you'll be able to see it. Whoop. Let's move it down just a tad. So here's the Wave mic. This is on another arm. Now this should be able to, I should be able, that's what I wanted to use. And it is an amazing microphone. Let me just tell you that right now. It has, let me see. I'm afraid to bring things up because then I'll have two competing systems and I don't need a fist fight right now. I just want to make sure that tomorrow, Bloodbugger, I'm blind. I just want to make sure that tomorrow when we go to do the Boomer Bunker that I'm able to do this. And, like I said, I put another monitor. I have a 34-inch monitor to my left and then a 34-inch monitor to my right. and then I have like a 32-inch monitor over here. I bought a key light for it because I couldn't change it, and I want to be able to either turn it off or turn it on. I couldn't, if I hold this, no, I can't do it. But so I'm just still working on it. But I needed to know, like right now, if I could come on here and see if everything sounds okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some sound effects. I don't even know what to play. But so, okay, here, this one.
The Boomer Bunker Podcast.
The Boomer Bunker Podcast.
The Boomer Bunker Podcast.
Yeah, I am redder. Well, I can also change this, and I can brighten it up a little bit. I can make myself. Yeah, I feel like I look green right now. When you're playing the effects, I don't know if you're fucking with me, and if you are, I'll know when I play this back so I can hear it. So, but I can change the brightness of this, and or I can make it. I can go with a white. I don't know which looks better. To be honest with you, the best way is if you can't see me at all. This is a temperature, so this is the light's basically blue, and then I can move it back. I don't, like I said, I don't know what looks better. This, no, I look orange man bad. I don't know. I don't know what looks better. So, but I have everything, and I had to completely tear the studio apart. And then when I started tearing the studio apart, when you're doing something where you work all the time, you just put stuff here, put stuff there. And now I started pulling everything out. What's in this bag? What's this? What's in this box? And I save every piece of equipment. I save the box for. Like I have the box for all my Roadcasters, and I have the box for the Stream Decks, and I have a box of boxes for everything else. I have the box for my iPads. I have the box for the Mac Minis, cameras, all that stuff. Because if I ever have to move and I'm alive, or if my family ever has to come in, my daughter knows where all the boxes are. So when I die and my family has to box all this shit up and sell it, they can put it in the original box. And I always thought that would make it worth more than it actually is. So that's what I did. Now, once I get done, I'll probably do Monday's show and Thursday's show the way I always did with this old equipment. And then once Thursday's show is over, I'm going to unplug everything from the Roadcaster, and then I will put the Stream Deck together and the Wavelink, it's called Wavelink 3.0 from Elgato, because it looks like it's really cool. It really looks like it's cool, and then I can record everything, and I want everything at my fingertips. I was talking to Duchess last night. We were talking about the show and some things we're going to do with the show. And I said, how do I put this? It's not that I enjoy producing more, but I do enjoy producing. I enjoy getting the show ready. I am loving working with AI to help me prepare the show. I'm finding more and more things that I can do with Claudette. And whoops, what did I just do? Okay. So I enjoyed preparing the show. I enjoyed doing the show. I just feel in my heart of hearts, as I'm going to be 65 in a couple months, that I just don't have the brain capacity to multitask more. My multitasking ability is becoming less and less. So the only thing that I can really do is focus on what I'm doing. And the reason I say that is because I went on Manuel and George's show, and I just had to sit back and be myself. Or when I go on Bruce's show in the morning, I just can sit back and be myself and lob in funny lines and stuff like that. And that's what I enjoy doing. But when I'm running the show here and have things set up where there's voice clips or video clips or what segments we're going to do next and what we're going to talk about, I have to think about that, and then that sucks the funny out of me, basically. And some people say, well, you're not funny anyhow. Oh, well, I'm less funny. I'm less funny if I'm producing than if I wasn't producing. Is that hard? And anybody want to jump in? Let me see. Bob, I don't know if you can jump in the voice chat over in the Boomer Lounge, because I would love to see what you sound like in here, or if it's even working. Let me double check and see if I have that. Where is Discord? Okay, yeah. So you should be able to, I should be able to hear you if you came in here. But I don't know. All right, where is, I've got too many windows open. See, I'm doing it already. All right. But I have a mess in this basement right now. Like, it's a shit show. There's boxes and cardboard, and I pulled up a bag, and I'm like, of course it's a Walmart bag. So the Walmart bags that I have, I have like 1,000 Walmart bags. I stuff everything in a Walmart bag. So I pull this bag up. I go, what's in here? It's T-shirts, and I'm like, well, why do I have this in here? Why is this even in here? Well, was this supposed to be upstairs and I forgot to take it upstairs? Why am I doing, what is this? Why is this all where it's at? So then I pulled that out, and then I pull another bag out. It's got car stuff in it. I'm like, why is this in here? And then, so I'm pulling everything apart, and it's going to take me about a week to go through and organize. I guess about 10 years ago, a buddy of mine, we went through the same podcasting course together, him and his wife. His wife was one of those people that come in your house and declutter your house. And they had a podcast. I can't remember the name of it. See, this is what I'm talking about. My memory shot. So Dan, his name was Dan. So Dan and his wife, Vanessa, they had a podcast where they would talk about decluttering your house and, having less things to worry about. And I really got into that. And I do, like, once a year, I go through my house and I can start going through things. And I'm like, I'll go through my clothes, and like, I'll buy a couple T-shirts. So my rule is, if I buy 3 T-shirts, I have to throw 3 T-shirts out. I can only have a certain amount of T-shirts. So I bought a couple T-shirts. And so now I'm going through, I pull all the other T-shirts out, and I'm holding them up to see if any of them got stains in them. So, because if they got stains in them, out. So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, back in 2002, a gentleman by the name of Cliff Ravenscraft, whose name, he was the podcast answer man. And in 2012, I was looking to learn how to podcast. I didn't really know how to do it. Because I would have been doing the same thing that thousands of other podcasters were doing. I used to be a DJ, and I had some mobile DJ equipment. So I saw that you could podcast, and you needed, so I'm like, I can just take my mobile DJ equipment and hook it up to this computer here, and I should be able to hold on. If I take this computer here, I'm sure that I could just take and put my microphone and my stuff, and I could be a podcaster. Well, after a weekend of tearing my hair out, it didn't work. So then I went to the YouTubes, as boomers do, and I just typed in how to podcast. And Cliff Ravenscraft had I guess he had like a 10 or 15 video course on how to podcast and do that. And at the very end, Bob's here. I heard him come in. Hey, Bob. So
What's up, Cupcake?
there you go. Yeah, I can hear it now. I would say, hey, can you hear Bob? But then Budvugger would say, I don't hear him.
I can have my girlfriend jump in and tell me.
I'm sure. Hang on. I could tell in a second. Let me just.
I'm on my AirPods. I'm not on my big rig. I didn't know which one.
Yeah, see, there you go. So now I don't need Budvugger. I know how. So anyhow, let me get back to my story. So I go through, and Cliff Ravenscraft is, he shows me these videos, but it's close, and he's got a course, and it's called Podcasting A to Z. And back then, 2012, did I just drop my iPad? I think I did. Back in 2012, it was $800, and I was like, shit. I just got laid off from my job. I really don't have $800. I'm sitting there, but I really wanted to take the course. So I really wanted to try this. And basically what it was 4 weeks. He would go through, he had videos, showed you how to do everything, how to build a website, how to get your RSS feed. And back then we used Google, what was it called? FeedBurner, Google FeedBurner. And that's how you made your feeds. And you used WordPress, and then you used a Blueberry WordPress plugin. It was a whole nightmare on how to do it. Podcasting is so much easier now. So I needed $800 to take his course. So I'm thinking around. So I went and I'm like, well, I have always had some kind of hobby. And there was like 4 or 5 hobbies that I wasn't doing anything anymore. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to sell all this stuff, and then I'm going to sell this and get myself $800, which I did. And I took his course, and that's when I started podcasting. Now you say, well, you paid for that. And Cliff and I became friends, and then he knew a guy whose name was Stuart Crane, who started TV Talk. And TV Talk was an app where you would go watch, you and another person would go watch a TV show. Let's say, I don't know, Yellowstone. And afterwards, as soon as the show was over, you were taking notes. You would get on and you would do a 20 to 25 minute podcast, not about the episode, but what you thought. It wasn't like you didn't recap it. You came on and you're like, you would say, okay, well, what are they going to do next? And is Casey going to do this? And so the guy hired me. Stuart hired me, and I was a host. So I did like 5 or 6 shows, and I got paid for it. And then they needed editors. And I'm like, well, I edit my own podcast. Why can't I edit this? So I started editing. And for about a year and a half, I was a podcast editor, and I was almost making elevator money. I shouldn't say that. I was making enough money where I was like, I hope this thing lasts forever because I can live off of this. Well, it lasted about a year and a half, and then it went belly up like startups do. So, but it was an amazing time because it taught me how to edit, and I got a lot of practice with it, and I also got a lot of practice behind the mic. And at one point, I was working with a guy. His name was. He was a 25-year Christian morning radio host. I could see his face. I can't think of his name. And he got let go, and he decided to start podcasting. And we did a show for 2 seasons about the TV show Blue Bloods. And he taught me so much about being a well, he was so much better at it than me, but he would come and we'd be talking about it. He says, now, and then he would say, now, John, let me ask you this. And he'd ask me a question that would lead me into what I was doing. And then, he would know that I was tuckering out or my, whatever my point I was making. And then he would say, well, let me ask you this, or he would come in, and we just went back and forth, and it was just amazing. And I've never been able to achieve that because but he was such a natural at it. So I learned a lot because I worked with so many different people on so many different shows. There was a guy who was working for WWE for the longest time. He was the ring announcer, and he worked at TV Talk. His name was Greg something, and he worked at WWE for a real, real long time. He was the announcer for the ring announcer. He also was working on what's the show that Kelly Clarkson was on? See, this is why I'm
American Idol.
Thank you, American Idol. Thanks, Bob. American Idol. So he worked in American. I know. See, I'm saying this is what I'm thinking. I go to say something, and then all of a sudden something else will fall out of my mind, and I can figure it out. But anyhow, that's what was going. That's when I worked on TV Talk. I worked with a lot of different, really, really good podcasters, and it helped me. It helped me learn how to do it. Then now, my brain doesn't work. So this is why.
Yeah, but so at what point does podcasting get its own? I don't know how to put it. Look or cascading style sheet, if you will, kind of like radio. Radio has a cascading style sheet. Currently, right now, if you listen to fucking No Agenda, I think they're live right now. Sounds like the monster truck announcer talking to a guy who's announcing a WWE event.
So it's Darren O'Neill and then deep voice guy. Is it
Larry Bleidner? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they've got great voices. Okay. And
yeah, but together it's horrible.
Because is it too much energy for you, or are you
It's-
just used to the no
well,
agenda show?
It's too much radio voice.
I know he's it's like, oh, it's like very, very upbeat. And then the other guy comes in and he's like, he's got the real low voice and they don't do a bad job. Okay. So I listened to the episode their last episode they did. And here's my critique. They took too long explaining to everybody who they were. We don't care. We knew
You
Darren.
didn't get to the meat and potatoes. What everybody comes there for is the deconstruction of the media.
Exactly.
That's what that show is. They
Right.
take media clips and they point out where they're lying or where it's obvious that they're all reading the same fucking news copy that's put out by one source. And what we got is 20 minutes of their backstory and why they're there. Now, I understand that might be important, but
No, it's
most
not.
most of us who are every week or every show fucking listeners, we already know why Adam's not there, why Mimi isn't there, why John C. Dvorak isn't there. So therefore, we don't really need all that shit. So it wasn't hard for me to skip ahead when they begin to explain, well, you had a podcast and then you got in a falling out with this guy. And then who cares? Nobody cares, bro. Nobody gives a shit.
So
I would love to, I haven't listened all the way through. Okay. So I don't know how much donations have slumped off, but I'm going to imagine, I don't even know if they're going over donations because the donation information, I don't know if Adam gives it to them for the show or if they're just, when Adam gets back, he's just going to do one episode of just, donations like they've done before.
Okay, so I have listened to the show, and they are reading donations. Now, I don't know how many donations. I don't know if they fell off or what's going on. But I do know that they are both, it seems like they're both, I think Darren O'Neill is definitely applying for John C. Dvorak's job, and he ain't it. He's not. Now,
Darren wants it pretty bad. Yes, he was the first to contact Adam. Like, hey, I know it's probably not a good time since you just lost your co-host of, fucking almost two goddamn decades. But hey, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring.
That's such a fucking radio thing. I always used to say, if you died in a chair and you slumped over the chair and died and fell out of the chair, that there would be like 10 people two people would be dragging. No, they'd fight over who would drag you out. And then they would fight. It'd be like musical chairs. Who would get into the chair to do the show? And John C. Dvorak wasn't even cold yet. And Darren's over there. Well, I've been doing the rock and roll show, and me and the Deep Voice guy, we do a show, and it's on the network.
Larry, yeah.
Yeah, Larry and I, we've been doing a show for how many years, and it is basically no agenda. So we've been doing a show, and I would be a perfect fit. And then Adam's going to have a real problem. Look, finding a good co-host that you jive with isn't easy, as
No.
I well know, because
Hey.
listen, we do things, we work together doing this kind of stuff, and it's fine. But when we were doing the show that you started the show. We would get in there, we would start doing the show, and then you clam up. And and just the past 2 times that we just did the show, I was like, oh, I remember. He doesn't have anything to say. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm burning through stuff. And then you're like, well, you take all my topics. I'm like, okay, well, then I'll do this. You do it. No. Okay.
I know. You have debunked all of my
But
excuses
But
because
the-
I didn't have reasons. I had excuses.
you just need to be able to talk more. You have opinions. You're
I
funny
need
in
to
the
be
chat.
able to not be paying attention to the chat. I need to not be fucking looking at the monitor with us on it, and I like too much input. Okay, that's why I do well right now. I've got my AirPods in. I'm actually boiling some diced up fucking potatoes right now to get them cooked up because they were growing eyes. So, and I don't like throwing things away. So I'm not in podcast mode, and that's like I am in the morning show. I have input because I'm able to think freely and not sit here and worry about production bullshit.
Can I be honest with you? With you?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
This is why I think you work very, very well on the morning show. Bruce starts the show. Nobody's there. You're there. And you and Bruce talk back and forth and you have a great conversation. Then Ken shows up and Ken starts talking. Well, no one can talk when Ken starts talking, which is fine. That's his show and all. So then you go and then say I show up and then Kate shows up. And then we're there. And then so you're in the background. You're just sitting there and you're just listening. You're sitting there, you're not doing anything. So then we run out of things to say or whatever, or you know, I got to go, Kate's got to go, and nobody's there except Bruce. And then you come right back in again, and you're that guy that's helping Bruce get through the show because you're that guy that he can talk to and bounce things off of. You're not in there elbows up like me and Kate and Bruce and Ken. We're elbows up trying to get our, you know, trying to speak, get our in. You don't do that. You don't do that at all. Where, you know, I get a point. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to say. Now I got to do is figure out when I can crowbar myself in here without talking over somebody and get my point out. You don't do that. You kind of just, and that, to be honest with you, the more I thought about it, the more that's a talent. That is a talent because a lot of people would be, you know, when Ken comes on, there's a lot of times when I wake up and I look and I go, oh, it's like quarter after. There's no sense going in now. Ken's in there and he's talking. I'll come in around, I'll come in about 40 minutes after, you know, after the hour. Ken leaves and then, you know, we can come in and have a conversation or something like that. But it is.
Yeah. I stay muted about 20 minutes of that show while Ken's there. And it's not, that is not a throw at Ken. Ken is a very well-spoken man. He knows his shit. He's very, very good off the cuff. He has his little cute little jokes that he throws in there to make it kind of lightheartedly comical but yet informational at the same time. Ken goes out and does things. He's experienced.
3, right? You had 2 brothers.
I will go ahead and quote Weird Al here, okay? My daddy was a waitress. My mama sold kitchen tile. My brothers all hated me because I was an only child.
Okay.
I was my brothers.
I had to think about that for a second, but it does make sense. Okay, excuse me. I had to take a little powder on that and say, what's he talking about? But no, I understand.
My brothers, and I'm sorry that person who just left was Tristan. I muted him the second he came in. So that and that is an issue because there was a lot of times it just depended which version of me sat down to the microphone that evening or that episode, because there was times when my entire goal was just to get you going on something.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean like piss you off, although sometimes that was goal number 1, but other times just to get you, you know, being the quintessential Jamingo, because people love you when you're acting like that. And I don't mean angry Jamingo. Sometimes that is a big draw, but there's also, you know, fun Jamingo who's just off the cuff and we have a fucking script or a board full of things to talk about, but fuck it. We ain't talking. We're going off we're just doing our own shit. Fuck it. Because you are an interesting fellow. You've lived a lot, you've done a lot of shit too. You have a lot of things to talk about. You have a lot of experiences that are interesting to a lot of people. So, get you going on that. So the other thing was, like I said, what am I going to do to John today? I would go, what am I going to do to him today? So, I'm going to mess with you in some way. It could be a lighthearted thing, like when I began doing the chick rolls, not the Rick rolls, the chick rolls. Remember play the songs of that bird, that guy honking that bird, the songs.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
the chicken guy, the rubber chicken guy.
Hey John, I've got a clip that covers that, and I'll bring that up, and it has nothing to do with anything. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, yeah, I know that.
So
right,
so
the chat's on fire right now. The chat's on fire right now. They're saying it's
all 3 people.
Yeah, all 5. 4. Google says that this is a therapy session for Bob, and this is a therapy 101 with Jamingo. No, we're just discussing about the and then Derry Holler said Holler, whatever. He says Metallica 1. There you go. But So I feel that we're okay for tomorrow for the Boomer Bunker. But I got to tell you, as a gearhead like you are, that Wave Link 3.0 that Elgato's got, and with that microphone, it has a thing. I don't know what it is. It's a noise reduction thing, and you click that on, and you sound like you're in a broadcast studio. Like I had the fan on, and I'm setting up the mic, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, let's turn this on. I turned it on, and it was like, poof, and it was silent, and I'm like, this is amazing. The problem is, I don't know how to work everything yet.
So to you now, I have in my AirPods Pro 2s, just to give you an idea if you know anything about them. I'm not sitting here bragging. I got the 2s, man. No, it's so and I have both of them in, and I have them on. I don't know if you call it isolation. Basically, transparency mode's turned off. So technically, all I should hear is what's in these earphones and nothing outside of that, and in my home. And
Ronco record cleaner. Remember it looks like the Ronco.
No,
Sparky, it looks like the Ronco record cleaner.
I have 2 kinds.
Except it's got like 5 of them. He showed us yesterday.
It's 8. It'll hold 8.
8 records. It holds 8 records. It's the same thing, and it just keeps running around. And I guess it's vacuuming them. And then does it have a wiper?
No.
I didn't notice. What's it doing?
So I have one called the Spin Clean, and that's just manual. So it's like a little vat that has plastic rollers on each end, and it has 2 brushes in the middle that one covers one side, one covers the back side of the record. So you dunk it in there, it doesn't get the label wet, and you just manually turn the record, just turn it, and it basically cleans it. So I was dunking it. These were so dirty that I used that first, and then I would mount them on the ultrasonic cleaner that uses ultrasonic fucking waves. It's the same thing. You can clean jewelry in there, carburetor parts, whatever you want to. But this one has the motorized mount to mount 8 records to, and then you just timer it, and you heat the water up to 35 degrees Celsius and put it on for 10 minutes and let it do its thing. So
35 degrees Celsius is 70. It's 100 degrees.
Yeah, it's about 100 degrees.
100 degrees.
So
Fahrenheit.
just because it's a little bit warm to the touch, just a little bit warmer than bath water. I mean, sorry, not as warm as bath water, but a little bit warm to the touch. So yeah, it's warmer than us, 98.6 degrees. But yeah, and then you get them off there, and I have an actual record drying rack. But once I get them off, I blow them off with that little handheld blower first, and then put them on the rack with a fan blowing on it. So it was a process. But Derek heard none of that because these fucking AirPods, they isolate your voice so well that
I know Kate the other day, she was talking to me, and I thought she was just walking around the house, and here she's in the grocery store doing something, and you figure you'd hear all that noise, but you can't. So yeah, it's amazing what they could do now. Right now, everything I'm running is what I used to run before with the Rodecaster. I have the whole Rodecaster here, but I have the other setup ready to go. Like I can just turn that on and try it. But I'm probably going to do it in if I can get it to work in Discord first. And trust me, I've watched like 15 videos on how to do this. So I think I pretty much have it. Because you can make like 5 mixes. So it can be the one I hear, the one that Discord hears, the one that goes out to this, so, and that scares me because then I don't know which one sounds like, in other words, my mix sounds fantastic. And the one that goes out to YouTube and Rumble and Twitch sounds like shit. I don't like that. I need to know what it sounds like. But I got to tell you, that $90 mic, it might be, I think I got it on sale. That $90 mic is as good, if not better, than this $240 mic and the other Electro Voice mic that I have. It's amazing. It's like a condenser mic. It's a dynamic mic, but it's like a condenser mic that's in a treated studio. I was shocked. When I turned that thing on, I went, whoa. It was crazy.
If you wanted me to, I have a spare SM7B sitting in a box.
if you wanted to try it out, I could mail it to you. You
No.
just have to mail it back to me.
Look, there's not much you can do with this voice. Okay,
I'm not saying okay.
as long as it's loud and clear, and you don't hear a lot of noise in the background, and you don't hear the breathing and the breaths and all that other stuff. Yeah, it's a different story. So, but you know me, I like playing with gear. I like playing with different things. I like messing.
Well, what was
with
your
stuff.
goal here? Was it to kind of reduce, kind of downsize a little? Because it seems like you had to buy 4 or 5 different things to replace 2 things, you know?
I did. So my goal here was to run everything off the Stream Deck because I like the everything at my fingertips. You know me, I'm a control freak. So I want everything at my fingertips. I want to be able to bring up scenes, and I want to be able to change things. Like right now, how do I do this? Okay, so like right now, if I go into the camera hub, you can't see this because you're not watching, but I can zoom in. Nope. Now it's not working. Fuck. What did I just do? Why isn't this working? Oh, because I don't have the camera hub up. Okay. Let me see. Well, since we're messing around here. Nope. That's not it. Where's the... What did I... Oh, there it is. Hold on. Camera hub. Camera hub. It should be here somewhere. Camera hub. I hope I didn't do anything with it. Hope I didn't delete it. That's interesting. It should be right here. I'm probably staring right at it. I can't see it because of the Elgato.
I noticed that Elgato, and you don't have to talk about this while you're trying to do stuff, but go ahead.
You know what it is? The camera hub, they updated it and they changed the settings. And now
you just got that shit, did you not? Or have you always had the Elgato? You've had the Elgato camera for a while, right?
Right.
Is it a face cam?
Yes. Okay. So
Because I know they have like the 1, 2, 3, all that.
Right. So now I should be able to zoom in. Does it work? It does not. Fuck. All right. Anyhow. Spent a ton of money for this shit not to work. This is what I'm talking about. But, you know, hey, everything, the buzzer works and, you know.
Soft fails again.
Soft fails again. Soft fails again. Absolutely. But, you know, again, when I finally get a hold of this thing and get it in my brain and learn how to work it, I think it'll work a lot easier. And then I can set different things up. And hopefully maybe I won't have to worry about I won't have to produce as much, which means I'll be able to have more brain power to actually run the show. I was talking to Duchess last night. I said, man, I wish you could run the show. I really do. I wish she could come in and, you know, let her do the intro, let her announce the segments, let her run the show, and then just let me be the second mic in there.
Well, that's kind of what, and you know, I'm not trying to throw rocks at you at all. You guys do what y'all got to do, but that's kind of what I thought you were going to have Mike do when he came on. I mean, I'm sure he does a lot behind, you know, the scenes, but from the, you know, listeners / viewers standpoint, he just plays drops in the background while you guys are live.
Here's the thing. The thing with Mike, and it's the only thing, is that he lives out in the middle of nowhere, and he has his internet's not really that good. So there's times where I don't even realize he's gone. Like, well, something happened and he's gone,
Right?
And then all of a sudden you hear him boop back in, boop, and then here comes Mike. So you know, it would be. I would love it. And again, he could do it. He would be the guy that would be able to do that. He would be the guy that I could say, okay, here's the run sheet. And then I would say, okay, Mike, play whatever, play video 5. And then, you know, because you hear other guys do that, go to video 5, and then they would do it.
Yeah. Well, you'll hear Crowder, you know, when he needs to make like a change that's on their show sheet, he'll be like, hey, play video 6, please. Or he'll just say 6.
Right.
You know, and they'll go out and play 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, because he has a full crew.
Right. He's got like producers over there, and they know the show, and they get the run. They get the run sheet. At
Yep.
6 o'clock, Mike and them show up, and they read the show notes, and we could do so much more. The other, I was listening to a podcast. It's called Almost Human, and it's a woman, and she does all this technology, and she's really into the AI chatbots and stuff. And she said that what she did was she basically set up a board of directors that basically helped her run her company and life. And I said, "Ooh, I want a board of directors." So I'm listening to this is when I wake up on Saturday. So then I bring up Claudette and I start talking to Claudette, and I said to her, "Can I have a board of directors?" And she's like, "Yeah, we can do this. You can have a CFO, a CEO, a CMO." And I go, "What's a CMO?" And she goes, "Oh, that's a chief marketing officer." I'm like, "Oh, I need a chief." I hate, like, when I get done the show, everything that I've talked about, read, everybody that's gave me advice about this show, they said, what you need to do is go in and pull video clips and put video clips on social media, put them on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, get all those and do that. And I refuse. I don't want to. I hate it. I hate doing it. I don't want to do it. And Wobbly says, you're overthinking this. Absolutely. I am 100% overthinking this because I want to learn. You know what it is, Wobbly? What I want to do is I want to learn another language. So let's say I know English, and now all of a sudden this other thing over here is Spanish. I want to learn another language. I want to be able to do this with this other system and still and know how to do what I can do on the road system. I really enjoy, for me right now, I enjoy producing the show. I enjoy using the chatbots. I enjoy it's almost like hiring a intern. You start talking to it at first, and then you have conversations back and forth, and then you teach it how you want it to work for you. And then it starts doing it. And it's amazing. And it costs me $20 a month. And you're like, oh, $20 a month. I'm like, that's all right. So that's 5 hours a week. And I do 2 shows a week. That's $2.50 a show. It's less than a cup of coffee. I'm getting yellow. Sparky says
63 cents a day.
Sparky says, you have enough trouble with English not to bust your ass. You're right. I do. Yes. English is my first language, and I do have problems with it. I get that.
Okay. So let me try to put this to Wobbly in a different way.
Okay.
Because he's a guitar player himself.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay. Wobbly, John Domingo is a tone junkie. Okay. So no matter when he finds his tone.
What's a tone junkie? What's a tone junkie? Okay. I'm sorry.
If you'll.
All right, I'll shut up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There are guitar players that the reason they have 18 guitar amplifiers and 46 guitars is because they're constantly trying to find their tone. They'll get almost there and think they got it dialed in, walk away, come back tomorrow, turn their gear back on and start playing and be like, man, I just can't get the tone I'm looking for out of this gear that I have. I know the answer is I need to buy a guitar that's made of alder wood. Yeah, that's it. And then the neck needs to be the fretboard needs to be Macassar ebony. Yeah, that's going to make a difference. No, it's not.
Sparky says,
but they'll go do it anyway.
Sparky says it's a frequency entrepreneur. All right, so I kind of agree with you, and I kind of disagree with you, because I'm not looking for a different tone. What I'm doing is I see something, I go, wow, that's amazing. I want to be able to work that like they do. I want to be able to use that system like they do. So I do believe it's like playing a different instrument. The Rodecaster, let's say that's the bass guitar. Okay, it's doom, 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 doom. And the Stream Deck to me is like rhythm or lead guitar. It's a whole different animal. And
well, yeah, I'm not. Okay. So you're a tech junkie.
Yes.
And you're looking for a better way to do things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where the guitarist is trying to get that tone that he's looking for, you're trying to get that streamlined experience of production.
When I was an elevator mechanic, I never had the right tool bag. I always wanted to find a toolbox that was right for me. It had to have the right tools
Exactly.
and have
Mhm.
everything in there. And so, and the closest thing that I ever had was I used to have like, it was like a paring down of the toolbox. I had my big toolbox, which I stole. I went and stole a shopping cart out of a parking lot. And it was the small shopping cart with the little thing on the top. It was like the little shorts, the retarded short, like the short bus shopping cart. So that was that. And I had my big toolbox in the bottom, and I had my power tools hanging off of it, and extension cords and stuff, and the light and all. And that was my major bag. All right. So now that, if I had to go in and do a repair job, that came in. That we rolled that in. Now, if I'm just going to go troubleshooting, I had a box that sat on top of that. I used to pull that out, and then I was just going to go troubleshooting with that box. I had a meter and some jumpers and screwdrivers and tools and test stuff and all that. So that's what I used. Now, if I'm going in and I know that doors are knocked off, but I don't need all those big tools and all, then I grab the bigger box. The bigger box has the big wrenches and the stuff and the hammer and the shit that I need to straighten everything out. That's kind of what I'm doing with podcasting.
Yeah. Like I have a drywall bag. So if I have to do a drywall repair of any sort, I just grab that whole bag. It's got all the tools I need in there to handle any kind of drywall repair.
Right. Okay. Here.
But I don't carry it in every time I go to paint an apartment.
Right. So here, Wobby says, as a streamer that is face and voice, you need to make it simpler so it can become second nature. Second nature. Yes. Second nature. Yes. You're absolutely right. I am trying to make it easier.
Well, would it benefit you? Like, sometimes I'll drop things in the background, either in the chat or whatever. And I don't mean in the live stream chat. I mean, like when we're on here, right? If you were talking, I could drop something here in this voice channel chat. That, was something I fucking dug up on Chat GPT while you guys were talking about it on Road Rage, like I did the other day. And you made me read it aloud, probably because you wanted to hear me stutter, but doesn't matter.
Bob, I don't do that to you. I don't. I don't do that.
Anyway.
But
would it benefit you to have somebody backstage doing that kind of stuff?
Possibly, but so
Duchess does a lot of that, but I think when she does it, I think it sort of takes away a little bit from her ability to be 100% part of the show.
Well, as I was thinking about this, I stopped looking at the chat. When we do the live show, I never look at the live chat because it distracts me. You saw me. I'm like that dog, squirrel. I move and it distracts me and I can't even finish the sentence. So I decided to stop looking at matter of fact, Doug from Who's Right was the one that said, turn the fucking chat off. He says, you don't need to look at that. And when I did that,
I'll tell you, their last episode, I was in their chat and he never brings up any kind of a comment in the live chat that is not got a dollar amount attached to it. And he brought up like 3 of mine, last night, just because last show, because I was making valid points in there, so.
Right. But I don't have and Wobbly's 100% right. For me, I need to do less, but I run the show. And, I kind of take stuff that he does, like he brings in clips. And how does he bring in clips? Now here, I want to be able to bring them in. I've tried to bring them in several ways when we do the show here. But since this is a video show, we basically have to show video clips. But what I can't stand, and I see a lot of radio shows do this now, radio shows like AM radio shows will do their show, they'll live stream it on YouTube, and then they'll put it out later in the podcast. But then it's an AM radio show. So the one show that I know that's in Philadelphia, they do a fight scene. So all we do, because I listen to it, I don't watch it on YouTube. I sit there and listen. They go, oh, look at this. And you hear in the background, my weave, and so I have no idea. And they do it for like 2 or 3 minutes. And you're like, this is horrible. So then I try, when I pull a video clip, what I do is I'll sit there and I'll close my eyes and I'll play it. And if I don't understand what's going on in that clip, I won't play it on the show, because it's got to be audio first, because it's an audio first podcast. that we live stream. So, but all right, I think
Yeah.
we've bored everybody enough here. Let's talk.
Yeah,
for an hour.
I didn't know this was for everybody's entertainment. I thought this was for
No, it's
testing
not. It's.
purposes.
I'll be honest with you. It's just us testing everything out, and
Right.
I know now. I know everything works. You know, I still have the rest, but I do have two complete setups. I have this microphone that goes into the Rodecaster,
Wavelength.
and then I have a whole nother microphone hooked up to the Wavelength, and I have two Stream Decks. One, the Stream Deck XL Plus, which is the big one, and then I got the Stream Deck XL, which has the 4 knobs and 8 buttons.
And you've also got your iPad that you could use also as like a button panel for that, right?
And since I have these, you can use the virtual. You can download the virtual buttons, and I could have a little thing there with some more buttons if I needed more buttons. But how many buttons do you need? I figured what I'll do is I'll use the right one to run the show and set scenes and stuff like that, and I left one for sound effects. And I don't really use that sound effects that much, but I do it, like for the beginning of the show when I just hit this and the show starts. This is that's my favorite part when Duchess goes, "Here goes nothing," and she just did that.
There goes nothing.
I said, "Okay." I said, "Get ready. I'm gonna hit the record button." And she says, "Here goes nothing." And I just love that. I pulled that, so that's in the beginning. But I have that, and then I finally have yours. So I have your audio there, and then I also have the outro music, and then the stingers. So I have that at my fingertips, so it's a lot easier. Wally says, "I work at the flow to bring it to comments or opinion." You do a great job. I really.
He does.
Yeah, he does a great job. In my humble opinion, Wally, I'm going to give you some advice that you didn't ask for. And you probably don't want. I don't know why you're still messing around on Kick. I really don't. You should bring your show to Rumble. You should bring your show.
He would do better
to
on Rumble.
You would do great on Rumble. You would do great on. I don't know why you're over
He
there on
would.
Kick. I understand
He
Twitch threw you up there, and 2 middle fingers to them. But your show would be so much more received on Rumble. I don't know why you don't do it. And trust me, if you need, I don't think you would need a hand learning how to go to Rumble and set up account and all that. I don't think you would need a hand. But if I can help you in any way with any knowledge that I have, all you have to do is reach out and let either DM me in Discord, or I'll give you my phone number for Christ's sake, and you can reach out. I believe in my heart of hearts that we have a very good group of independent podcasters. You got George and Manuel Fonts. You've got Bruce. You've got Aaron. Am I missing people? You've got you have Jody. You have Mike from Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks. Teresa. We have a really good group of independent podcasters, and I love the fact. Oh, and Lorenzo, and I'm afraid I'm going to forget somebody, but Lorenzo. So we have a really good group of people, that we bounce stuff off of. And Wobbly, if you ever came in, I don't know if you're in my Discord or not. If you are, I hope I gave you the podcaster. What is that called? Tag. Role, podcaster role, because we have a role in there which is for podcasters that we can go in there and talk about podcasting stuff. I had a channel where it wasn't, and people would come in and start talking about shit that they didn't know, and then I'd yell at them. So I said, no, let's just make a role for podcasters, and we're in there and we talk about stuff that goes on. So like I said, you're more than welcome, but I would probably, because I don't like the platform Kick. It doesn't work well on my phone. If I'm on my computer and I can remember, I come in and I drop in. Here, hold on. I thought about it, but there's a lot of competition in this time slot. You're like, yeah, of course there is. Yes, there's how much. Again, I don't want to. I don't know how many people you get a Kick. I really haven't looked, dude. Is it in the hundreds? I mean, even if you had the same amount of people over in Rumble, I think you would get more. You would have more. Your people are over in Rumble. The Kick people, they're kids. They're You know, they're doing
Well,
makeup.
he's doing OBS too, so he can do both. He can do Kick and Rumble.
Yeah. Why not just add it? And
Yeah.
you do 4 hours. There's plenty of people that go over there do 4 hours. There's just, what was that? Remember that girl, Lemmy? Lemmy, she was a fan of Steel Toe. And then she does her own morning show. She sits there, she listens to music, and she talks chit chat.
Yeah, well, she's been doing that for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. And
Yeah, Lemmy has. So
yeah, and your people will
another
find you.
another podcaster divorce.
Oh wow. I figured that was good. You think it was because of the podcasting? You think? I don't think so.
Her husband was Granny.
I know.
Granny loves getting banned or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a painter. So enough said there.
Okay. Uh-oh. I should hear your wife. Why? What is your wife saying? Is she agreeing with me, or is she telling me to go pound sand? I wonder if Mrs. Wobbly is agreeing with me. My nose is itching for some reason all of a sudden. Why when I turn the camera on does my nose start to itch? I don't get that.
He needs
But-
some booger sugar.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I would like to know what Mrs. Wally says, because he's in California, so he's up at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
which is really early. Like,
Yeah, he's up earlier than that. I think he's up at like 4. I think he goes live around 6 or 7. My
Yeah.
time, I'm in Central.
yeah,
So I watch his show almost every morning after I get done with Road Rage. I'll hop in there. Sometimes I'm in there like prior, and then I'll leave to come and do it, with
Mhm.
Bruce. But I like what he's done with the camera thing. Like I used to enjoy his background because he had it, kind of cool things in the background. But now he has it more like a bokeh, so everything's blurred but him. And I kind of like that a little bit better because it highlights him more. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So
Wobbly says I'm
he's very
up at 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we could do the same thing here. I can blur here, so that's blur. I can cut the intensity back. Let's see, come here. All right, so that's the intensity. So I can move it to, let's say, about 50% blur. So there's 50% blur right there. It doesn't look bad. I'll tell you one thing. I noticed now that since I moved everything here and I'm closer to the back wall now, that poster is way too big. It's way too big. Also, it's cut the top of my head off and you can just see Duchess. So, but if I go away from that, I think I'm going to do something with that background. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do something.
Can you
different.
can you like drag your desk a little bit more away from that wall?
No, I just drugged it.
Oh, you just moved it.
I moved it closer to the wall because I want to be able to get behind the table here so that I can run wires and get the things.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I can't get the things. And I'm done at my age. I'm done crawling around on the floor.
Oh.
So I figured I'd move
Getting
that
down
back.
there ain't that hard. It's getting back up that's a mother.
Oh, down's easy. I do downs.
Mhm.
I get down, boogie down.
Mm-hmm.
No ups. No pull-ups,
Eastbound and
push-ups.
down. Yep.
No sit-ups. Right. But hopefully that's going to change too. That was another thing that I was listening to, that lady, the one that says she's doing the show Almost Human. And they were talking about a woman who wrote a book about people that are, sedentary. They're in the office all day. And they, and then they did a study where if you just did some light movement, like 5 minutes out of an hour, or in the morning and then a couple times during the day, that it really improves your health. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. I'll start doing that. So actually tomorrow morning, I'm getting up a little early, make sure I get and start moving around and trying to get more movement into my life. And then maybe I can. And if that, maybe I will be able to get down on the floor again. We'll see. But I got, I don't know how much time I have left, but I figure I might as well just try to do what I can with the time that I have left. My buddy.
I don't know. Last time I got down on the floor, I tried to get up and rock myself to sleep.
I just called my best friend that I've known since 7th grade, and we always call each other on our birthdays, and I've never missed a year, and I just realized
Aww.
that that the last time I called him was his birthday last year. And I said to him, I said, listen, I'm a bad friend. I said, I haven't talked to you since last year. And, he was the guy that got me in the elevator business. He's been, we used to hang out and we hell raised together. And, I can't think of good memories back in my earlier days that he wasn't part of it. And not to really have talked to him in 2 years is unacceptable. Bobby says, you're only 65. That's young. I guess. I don't know. I got friends that are dying now. So who knows? And I'm not in the best of shape. I got to get in better shape. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a little late for that shit.
What, getting in shape?
I'm just playing. Yeah,
Well-
everybody they hit like my age, it's oh shit, I gotta start fucking exercising and quit drinking, quit smoking, and fucking this shit's getting serious. I can smell the mortality.
I know that when I move around and do anything, any kind of physical activity or whatever, I feel so much better, not only that day, but the next day. And then what I've done is I've made it where I gave myself so much to do that's all sitting in this chair. So I have to fix that. All right. We've done an hour, Bob, you and I. Listen, I really appreciate you coming in here and helping me. And there's a lot of times where we, like I said, you and I we get in there and we start trying different technology out, and I appreciate it. You're a lot of fun to do that with. Like, something, Wobby, why are you're not giving us any information? You're saying your wife is cracking you up. What is she saying? I'm sure she's giving us shit over here. It's like, why are we watching these two nitwits? Well, the one nitwit on the screen, the fat guy on the screen, and then the other guy in the background. Why are we listening to this?
We call that an A-B conversation. So see your way out of it.
Mm-hmm. I would love to hear what she was saying, but all right, I'm going to get out of here. I got some more cleaning up to do. I got some stuff to put away. I will be back here tomorrow at 6:30. I only have one story that I know that I'm going to do. We're going to talk about the war in Iran tomorrow. And also, Bob, I don't know if you know this, but yesterday was the 45th anniversary of the start of MTV. Where were you, Bob, when MTV started?
August 1st, 1981. I wasn't there day one, but we had cable back then. But I don't know how we were broke, but yeah, it was probably like a weekend, and I caught it. I think the first video I caught was the Rolling Stones video for "Waiting on a Friend," which is fucking boring, and I'm not a huge fan of them. But
I would say that was back in the day. That was the closest thing that we had to doom scrolling, because you would sit there, in the afternoon, you'd get home from work, or, Saturday morning or something, and you would sit there and watch video after video after video. And then all of a sudden you'd scream, oh, hey, look, Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer's on. Come on, get in here. And we would watch that. And then there were songs that I used to say the only reason that they were hit songs was because of the video. And,
it took the place of, coming home from work and putting on some music while you're making dinner. You just turn on the TVs, and that way you could get kind of best of both worlds. You get visual and audio. So here's a trivia question. What was the first video that they played?
Video Killed the Radio Star.
Yes. Very good. That was by the Buggles, I think.
Possibly. And then I always
wonder.
I always get hung up on the second one, which I forget what it is. But
I don't. I would have to chat that one.
Yeah. So, but I remember, man, because it was the one DJ was from Philadelphia, from WMMR, the curly-haired guy. What was Mark something?
Jackson.
No.
Oh, Mark. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Mark.
I can't think of his names right now.
I know Video Killed the Radio Star, but I can't remember Mark, whatever his name is. But he was from WMMR. He was from the FM radio station here. And then you had Nina Blackwell and Kennedy. Blackwood, Kennedy, and then you had
Mark Goodman.
Mark Goodman, I think.
Nina Blackwood, Mark Goodman, Alan Hunter, J.J. Jackson, and Martha Quinn were the original I guess that's 5 or 6.
Yep,
5.
they were the, and then Adam Curry came in, with his big giant hair, somewhere in there when they were doing Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, we used to fucking bag on him during Headbangers Ball because his hair was too, done.
Yep. Yeah.
So because we were huge, Headbangers Ball fans, we like the Anthrax type stuff, not the fucking Motley Crue stuff. But so we'd bag on anybody who was too, pretty.
Yeah, he was a pretty boy, that's for sure.
He joined in just a second. It's telling me he joined in 1987.
Wow, really? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
he did the Headbangers Ball and the MTV Top 20 Video Countdown.
Yeah, because let's see. So in the 80s and then 90s, because in 81, I was 21. No. Yes, 81, I was 21. So that's when I started going to bars and stuff and going out and watching bands. And from 1981 until basically 1994, that's what we used to do on weekends. We used to go around chasing local bands. And where's this one band called Slippery? Slippery was the name of the band. They were really good band that was, there was a really good cover band, and we would go check them out. And the Grease Band, they would do old 50s, and that's what we did every weekend.
So interesting. So Adam Curry got kind of ahead. He's always been a nerd. And he registered the domain name MTV.com back in 1993. Now he went to work and told them, hey man, I went ahead and I got, MTV.com for you. And they weren't interested. They couldn't give a fuck. They were like, fuck off, eat a dick. We don't need that shit. We don't want it. Whatever, dude. And the next year, 94, he actually left. I don't know if he was fired or if he quit because of a dispute over that same domain name.
Isn't that weird? Yeah,
it's crazy.
Because that's the 1994 was when I bought my very first computer, which I bought at Circuit City, and then I hooked it up, and then that's when you got the disc, you got the CD that you got AOL, or there's another thing that they used besides AOL, CompuServe, or I don't remember, but anyhow, there was a bunch of them, and you would go on there and you would you'd get on the phone, and you would go in there and you'd be in the chat rooms and shit. It was almost like a Discord server, kind of in a way. And you'd be on there for a couple hours, and your phone bill would be going crazy, and people would be trying to get a hold of you. You had to turn off your call waiting so it wouldn't kick you off. And then people would come running over and say, "What are you doing?" I'm on the computer. That's when it all started.
So Curry hosted a personal bulletin board, basically a BBS, on and website on MTV.com at his own expense, using it on air to get email feedback from tech-savvy viewers. MTV executives initially verbally sanctioned this work. When Curry left MTV in 1994 to start his own web portal business, he refused to give up the domain, and MTV filed the trademark infringement lawsuit to force him to hand it over. The lawsuit was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount, and MTV finally gained control of the domain. So, interesting shit.
Yeah. He was ahead of his times. Well, listen, if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be podcasting.
Podfather.
Yeah.
Podfather.
Yeah, he
didn't coin the name. There was a guy in the room when he was talking about it. He met with Steve Jobs about it, and they were like, okay, we can do this. He had created the whole indexing thing for the fucking RSS feeds and all that. And he talked to, Jobs about it, and Jobs was down with it. And he was talking about it, and this guy was in the room, and he's like, why not call it podcasting?
Well, everything was pod back then because it was working. But they needed content for the iPods. And people they didn't want to spend money, and podcasts were free. And there wasn't a lot of them, and you were able to get them. And like I said, I missed it. I was so close to being there. And I'm like, what the hell is this pod thing? This is stupid.
Yeah. The first one that I knew of was done by Kevin Smith back in like 05, 06. He was doing one called the Smodcast, SMOD cast, and he's the guy who did Clerks and all those movies. So, but it was more about comic books. He owns a comic book store up in Red Bank. So he's Yeah, so it was more about that kind of, nerdy shit that I am not into comic books at all. I could give a shit. So I didn't really pay attention to it
One
too
of the
much back
guys-
then.
One of the guys that I know that's big into podcasting now, he's a nerd. And when he found out, he had like a 45-minute commute to work, and he was tired of listening to music. He was tired of listening to radio and all that. So he found these podcasts. So what he would do is at night, he would download them on his laptop, and then he would put the laptop in the car, and he would listen to he would listen to the shows on the laptop when he went to work. And then when he would come home, he would download new ones. So that was back in the day. And then when I forget what version of the iTunes came out with the iPod directory, that's when podcasting really kind of took off. And I forget when that was, but I first really got interested in 2012. So I missed basically 6 years of podcasting, because I think it was like 2006, 2007 when I first started listening to Adam Curry on Sirius Radio playing snippets of podcasts.
So Apple added podcasts to iTunes on June 28th, 2005, with the release of iTunes 4.9.
Did I lose you?
No,
Okay.
I just said with the release of iTunes 4.9.
Okay. I thought there would be something after that, but okay. All right, Bob, I'm going to get out of here.
Armpit fart. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't know if anybody's still here. If they are, thank you very much for listening to us ramble on. And we'll talk to you later. Leave. Yeah.